Good morning, students. Welcome to On One. I am Sudeep Roy, your biology faculty. Today's topic is ecology. In this video, we will learn about ecology, its definition, ecosystem, environment, and the components of environment, that is, the biotic and the abiotic components. So, without wasting any time, let's start the topic. Okay, so what is ecosystem? Now, ecosystem, it is the interaction between living organisms and environment, right? The simple definition of ecosystem is it is the interaction between living organisms and the environment. For example, human beings. Human beings interact with sunlight. It also interacts with plants. It also interacts with other animals. So this is an example of ecosystem. Now we will study about environment. The term environ, it means around. So what is environment? Surroundings in which organisms live. So it is the surroundings where the organisms live. Environment, you may also say it is equal to living components plus non-living components. Okay? So environment is the sum total of living component and non-living component. Living component, also known as biotic component, and the non-living component is also known as abiotic component. Clear? So environment is the sum total of living component and the non-living component. Living component is also called biotic component, and non-living component is also known as abiotic component. So overall, it is surroundings in which the organisms live is called environment. Okay, now we will describe here about the biotic components and the abiotic components. So the term bio, it means life. So anything that has life is known as biotic components. So some examples are plants, animals, microorganisms. In short, these are the living components. So anything that has life comes under the category of biotic components, right? Similarly, abiotic components. Now, what is the term abio means? It means without life or no life. So these are basically the non-living components, and some examples are land, air, water, climate, temperature, sunlight, etc. Okay, so it's very easy. So now we will study ecology. So what is ecology? Ecology is the study of interaction between the living organisms and environment. So what is ecology? It is the study of interaction between whom? Between living organism and the environment. This study of interaction is called ecology. Okay? If we split the word ecology into eco plus logy, the word eco It comes from a Greek word oikos. And what is the meaning of the term oikos? It means house. And the meaning of logy is study. So the study of house is known as ecology. Why? So now the biotic components on the basis of their mode of nutrition, they categorized into three sections. What they are? They are producers, consumers, and decomposers. Okay? Now the biotic components, they are categorized into three categories, that is the producers, consumers, and decomposers on the basis of their mode of nutrition. Now here we will know about the producers. Now who are the producers? Producers are the green plants. Producers are also known as autotrophs. Now the question is, why they are called autotrophs? I mean, the green plants, they are the producers and they are also called as autotrophs. Now the question is, why the green plants are called autotrophs? They are called autotrophs because they prepare their own food by a process known as photosynthesis. Okay? Now, what they used during that particular process of photosynthesis, they used sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to prepare food for the green plants. Okay? So I am briefly discussing once again. Now the producers, they are the green plants. They are also called as autotrophs. Why they are called autotrophs? Because they prepare their own food by a process known as photosynthesis. Okay, and how they prepare their food? With the help of sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. Now we will study about consumers. Now, what are consumers? Now, they cannot prepare their own food. Okay. Now, the consumers, they cannot prepare their own food, unlike producers. So, consumers are also known as heterotrophs. Okay. Consumers, they are also known as heterotrophs, and unlike producers, they cannot prepare their own food. Example, all living animals, they are the examples of consumers. Okay? Okay. Now, we will know about the types of consumers in an ecosystem. What they are? They are herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, scavengers, and decomposers. Okay? So, these are the types of consumers in an ecosystem. Okay. So now we will talk about herbivores. Okay. Now, what are herbivores? Animals that eat plants. Okay. So any animals that eat plants are called herbivores. Herb, over here you can see the word herb. So herb, it represents a plant. So hence animals that eat plants are called herbivores. Okay. They are also known as primary consumers. Okay. Some examples are cow, deer, rabbit, etc. etc. Okay. Okay, now we will discuss about the carnivores. Okay. Now animals that eat animals only, animals that feed on other animals are called carnivores. They are also known as secondary consumers. Examples of carnivores are lion, tiger, leopard, etc. Okay, so this is all about the carnivores. Now next category is omnivores. What does the word omni means? Omni means both. So these are the animals that eat both plants and animals. Okay. Examples: humans, bear, etc. So omnivores are those animals that eat both plants and animals. Okay. Now we will talk about the scavengers. Now what are scavengers? They feed on dead and decaying matter. Okay. So they are those animals that feed on dead and decaying matter. Example: vulture, hyena, jackal, etc. Okay. So lastly, we will talk about the decomposers. What they are? They are also known as the nature scavengers. The question is why? Because they clean our environment. Now you may ask how? Because they feed on dead and decaying organic matter. So like scavengers, they also feed on dead and decaying organic matter. Okay. Now what happens is that an example is crow. Crow is an example, bacteria. These are the examples of nature scavengers. The best example is crow. I am writing it down. Just a minute. I am writing it down. Example is crow. Bacteria also. Okay. Now what happens is that when the plants or the animals they died, the decomposers they feed on them. And what happens is that they release the nutrients in the soil. And then what happens? Plants take the nutrients that was released in the soil, and then plants utilize that for their growth and development. Okay. So this is all about the decomposers. So decomposers, they are the nature scavengers. They help in cleaning our environment. They feed on the dead and decaying organic matter. Some examples are crow, bacteria, and other microbes as well. Okay, thank you. Okay, so what we have learned so far? So we have learned that the producers, means plants, they are eaten by primary consumers, that is the herbivores. Okay, they eat the plants. Primary consumers are eaten by the secondary consumers. Secondary consumers are again eaten by the tertiary consumers. And tertiary consumers are eaten by quaternary consumers. Okay. So first of all, plants means producers are eaten by primary consumers. Primary consumers are eaten by secondary consumers. Secondary consumers get eaten by the tertiary consumers, and tertiary consumers are finally eaten by quaternary consumers. I will explain this a little later. For example, plants are eaten by rabbit. So rabbit is a primary consumer over here. Rabbit in turn is eaten by a snake, that is a secondary consumer. Snake in return is again eaten by peacock, who is a tertiary consumer. And peacock in return is eaten by eagle, who is a quaternary consumer. I hope it is a very, very easy example, right? Okay. So students, I hope you like this video. Thank you so much.